Why were some terrestrial dinosaurs able to reach such incredible sizes, and why has nothing come close since? I'm looking at examples like Dreadnoughtus, the sheer size of which is kinda hard to grasp. The largest extant, terrestrial, animal today, as far as I know, is the African elephant, which is only like a tenth the size. What was it about conditions on Earth at the time that made such immensity a viable adaptation? Hypothetically, could such an adaptation emerge again under current, future conditions?
1. Earth was oxygen-rich, allowing for more oxygenation too. Many dinosaurs including sauropods had air sacs, which are found in birds. Air sacs allow for animals to take in air while they're exhaling too. This led to more oxygenation, especially for animals like sauropods that had long necks that would have otherwise made it harder to lighter bone densities. This may seem weird because you'd think a bigger animal would need heavier bones. On the contrary, if the bones weigh less, then it means less energy spent. Moving around. 4. Co-evolution arms race. A species is hunted by a big predator. Increasing in size is a good way to defend against this. Once the herbivores get bigger, the predator must now get bigger. This cycle continues until you get sauropods were also able to reach such large sizes because their long necks allowed them to reach higher, and this had almost limitless food and zero competition. Most herbivores were eating grass and bushes and low tree branches, but nothing else was eating treetops. A species with limitless resources has nothing controlling it and can just keep for today, maybe. First of all, the largest living animals today are blue whales. The African elephant is the largest land animal. This is pure opinion and speculation, but I'd say the chances of any animal ever getting so impossibly huge in our era is unlikely. Climate change is heating the planet, which will affect plant life, and pollution is poisoning the oceans. We're in the midst of an extinction event. Historically speaking, during extinctions the smaller organisms come out on top. They need less food. Sauropods and T-Rexes were among the first to go extinct after the 1. Co-evolution, not convolution. 2. This is blowing up, and after having a discussion in a different comment, I'd like to correct and clarify my statement. Oxygen levels during the Cretaceous were higher, which is when a lot of these land giants lived and thrived, but many rose during Triassic or Jurassic when oxygen levels were lower. This would sort of nullify my number 1 point, but would absolutely put emphasis on number 2. Other animals that didn't have air sacs would be limited, while ones that did would have an advantage to oxygenate them more.
The gigantic sauropod dinosaurs were pre-adapted to gigantism. That is, even before they evolved gigantic size, they had a number of characteristics that made them suitable for being huge. And as they evolved toward gigantism, they picked up some other adaptations that let them move further along that path. Most of what I'm going to say comes from Biology of the Sauropod Dinosaurs, the Evolution, an evolutionary cascade model for sauropod dinosaur gigantism, overview, update and rapid growth preceded gigantism in sauropodomorph. First 2 references are open access, and if you're interested you should read the whole things. The first in particular sums up a lot of work. It offers 5 main factors: greater than 1, reduction in body density greater than 2, reduced cost of locomotion greater than 3, reduced cost of respiration greater than 4, lower basal metabolic rate and gigantothermy greater than 5, reduced cost of reproduction. I won't go into each of them, since the article is free to read. But it's worth emphasizing that dinosaurs, as opposed to mammals, have a much better respiration system than ours. That includes both a more efficient airflow, and, very significantly, pneumaticized bones. That is, dinosaurs, including modern birds, include air pockets in many of their bones, which makes them much lighter for their size than mammals with their thick, solid bones. Greater than the extensive air sac system of sauropods. With diverticula invading most of the presacral vertebral column, and the ribs resulted in a specific body density of kg/L-1, with certain parts such as the neck having a value of kg/L-1 only. Henderson, 2004. Weidel, 2005, Schwartz and Fritsch, 2006. This is also expressed as a body mass reduction by 8 volume-based estimates, Weidel, 2005. The hypothesis that the lightweight construction of the axial skeleton of sauropods contributed to their gigantism thus is supported. Biology of the Sauropod Dinosaurs, the evolution of airflow makes a more efficient animal. greater than since the work of breathing and its energetic cost is directly proportional to breathing frequency and inversely proportional to the compliance of the respiratory system. An avian-like lung air sac system in a sauropod would be extremely energy efficient to operate. The result in the case of a bradymetabolic homoeothermic giant sauropod would be an extremely low energetic cost of breathing per unit time compared with extant mammals and birds. Perry et. Biology of the Sauropod Dinosaurs. The evolution of there will certainly be many people confidently proclaiming that high oxygen environments had something to do with dinosaur gigantism. I'll point out that that's not only false, but backwards. Dinosaurs evolved during a relatively low oxygen period, but that's probably not a major factor, either way for gigantism. Greater than the late Triassic was the time of the lowest atmospheric oxygen levels of the entire Phanerozoic, and the ability of taking up twice as much oxygen than other tetrapods would have been a great selective advantage. This hypothesis is in accordance with several observations. Both sauropods and theropods increased in body size very rapidly compared to ornithischian dinosaurs, and Saurischean dinosaurs dominated the Jurassic faunas. Ellipsis. This review rejects a number of hypotheses about sauropod gigantism. There is no evidence for a higher atmospheric oxygen level during the Mesozoic than today. A higher level is not necessary for the sauropod body plan to function. Biology of the sauropod dinosaurs. The evolution of well as these built-in factors pre-adapting dinosaurs to gigantism, sauropods in particular evolved a series of adaptations letting them move further along the giant pathway. These include long necks, allowing more efficient feeding. Greater than probably the most conspicuous features of the sauropod ballplan, the very long neck, was the first key innovation in the evolution of gigantism. The long neck allowed exploitation of food inaccessible to smaller herbivores and a much larger feeding envelope than in a short-necked animal, and thus significantly decreased the energetic cost of feeding. Stevens and Parrish, 1999. Prushoft et in Press. Seymour, Biology of the Sauropod Dinosaurs. The evolution of long neck was possible because of pre-adaptation, and it was supported by some innovative structures strengthening and supporting the neck. Greater than several anatomical features enabled this extreme elongation, including absolutely large body size and quadrupedal stance providing a stable platform for a long neck, a small, light head that did not process food, cervical vertebrae that were both numerous and individually elongate, an efficient air sac-based respiratory system, and distinctive cervical architecture. Relevant features of sauropod cervical vertebrae include pneumatic chambers that enabled the bone to be positioned in a mechanically efficient way within the envelope, and muscular attachments of varying importance to the neural spines, epipophyses and cervical ribs. Why sauropods had long necks, and why giraffes have short. Did gigantism evolve? In general, it's good to be big. The bigger you are, the harder it is to eat you, and you can take advantage of economies of scale. One 50-ton animal needs less food than 10 5-ton animals, for example. For most species, getting bigger hits barriers fairly quickly. Dinosaurs started off with a set of characteristics that permitted gigantism, and sauropods in particular further evolved support for it over time, so they were able to get bigger.
Couple of issues: oxygen levels during the Triassic and Jurassic weren't really higher than modern levels. Maybe during the Cretaceous, oxygen was higher than today. But the biggest dinosaur herbivores evolved mostly in the Jurassic. 5. The earliest evidence we have for the existence of grasses is 66 million years ago. For basically all of the age of dinosaurs, grass hadn't evolved yet. Or at the very least, they weren't widespread enough to be found in the fossil record consistently before 66 million years. We don't know the exact order in which dinosaurs went extinct after the KT extinction event. Maybe they all died in a few weeks or months. Maybe some hung on for a few years after, but it's impossible to tell the exact timing. The KT boundary layer is just a jumble of tsunami debris, depending on location, shocked quartz, iridium-enriched minerals, fire residue, etc. It's just that dinosaur fossils are found below it and no dinosaur fossils are found above it.
What a reply. Thank you from someone who's not op.
If dinosaurs had air pockets in their bones, does that mean they were relatively fragile in comparison to modern mammals?
People have given many good reasons, but there are two simpler ones that beg a mention. 2. First, looking only at modern fauna is incomplete. because we are in the middle of a mass extinction event that began after 100,000 years ago. If you were to time travel to just 20,000 years ago, the largest terrestrial animal on Earth wouldn't be the African elephant, which tops at 4 meters in height, but the Asian straight-tusked elephant Paleoloxodon nomadicus, which topped at 5 meters. P. antiquus was the largest terrestrial mammal of all time, as tall as the largest ornithopod dinosaur Shantungosaurus, and taller than all carnivorous dinosaurs including Tyrannosaurus, Giganotosaurus, and Spinosaurus. It was even taller, shoulder-wise, than Diplodocus and almost average for Apatosaurus. So while on average dinosaur species are much larger than mammals, the largest mammal ever is actually only surpassed by the most gigantic sauropods, which are a relative small number of dinosaur species. Other factor is a prolonged time in stable climatic conditions. In general, the Cenozoic has not been as long and stable as the Mesozoic. K.T. extinction 66 million years ago killed all animals larger than a dog, and many smaller than one. In spite of this, it only took mammals 30 million years to produce Paraceratherium, an animal almost as large as Paleoloxodon already. If the world had not become drier and colder and Paraceratherium become extinct with no descendants, who is to say it wouldn't have evolved into an even larger animal? Now I don't know when the first giant sauropod evolved, but the classic Morrison Formation fauna, Brachiosaurus, Apatosaurus, Diplodocus, lived about 150 million years ago. Dinosaurs first appeared about 240 million years ago, which means there were potentially 90 million years before dinosaurs reached those sizes compared to just the 30 or 60 mammals have had.